So today we are going to discuss the very important and the last of the slides from the University of Illinois by Dr. Jonathan Tompkin, and that's about future populations. Today I will be talking about the age structure graphs. Mostly there are three shapes in age structure graphs when we talk about age gender structure graphs. So the one shape is the pyramid, the other is the flat structure, and the third is the wedge shape. So these are very important slides, and the last slides from the chapter of population that we'll be discussing. And I will be sharing very important information that how population in different countries, especially in the developed countries, when we see that population is decreasing. So what are the social implications for that, and how the aging of population, what actually does graying of population means. So this is a basically age structure graph, age structure gender pyramid, you can also say, because the shape is like a pyramid. And at the base you can see the number population in millions, and then on the right side the number of males, and then on the left side the number of females. Also the colors are different. Blue for the males, and the other color is for the females, pink, you can say that. And if you see that there's an age group in the middle, from 0 to 4 age group, then 5 to 9, 10 to 14, and so on till 100 plus. So this is a basic population pyramid, and you can see the number of children being born are more as we go up. So you can see the number of people, the number of growing persons get reduced. So there are always more children born at the age of 0 to 4. Then some of them will die, and then when we move to 5 to 9, we will have less. Then when we move to 10, so on and so forth. So as we move up the graph, we will see the number of persons, both on the male side and the female side, reducing. So this is just a normal pyramid shape graph of a country. And this is example is of the Sudan in 2009. So let us see the most important example here is of Japan that we'll be studying and we will be discussing in detail. Let us see the graph of Japan. It's all almost similar. You can see people. There is at the base. The base is more you can say thick, and as we move up, so the graph gets thinner and thinner. And so there are more people that are being born, and there is more younger lot. And then when we move up, the aged people are reduced. This is the Japan age structure pyramid in 1920s. So in 40s, we already all know Second World War occurred, and so we can see the number of males, especially they reduced. So this is a gap that does come here, and that due to that war, so the number of children that were born in the coming years increased. And in 1940, the war was there, and so the male population was really reduced. And then the children were being born, or you can say the baby boomers stage came. And here you can see in 1960s that there was baby boomer, you can see, and the population increased, or the number of children being born was increased. So they were being born after the war, and in 1960s, they are, or if you see that time scale, so you can see that around the children that were being born are now around age 10 as we are moving upward. So that is the big baby boomer stage. But after that, the number of children being born were reduced in Japan, and there was a lot of emphasis on again family planning and having less children. We have already discussed in the previous slides about Malthus theory and also about the demographic transition. So that demographic transition does have a role to play here in this regard. So after only this, because of the Second World War, there was a baby boomer stage. Otherwise, it would not have been like that, and we would not have been seeing this special increase in the number of births, and it would have been a normal graph that we will be discussing for the other countries in the future in the upcoming slides. So let us see. Due to the war, baby boomer stage occurred, but after that, again there was a reduction in the number of children being born. And here you can see in 1980s, it's almost a flat structure. Now the baby boomers that were being born in 1960s are now, after 20 years, they are in 20 and 30 years of age. and we are having less number of children stage where both male and female being born are quite less than the number of male and female that were being born 20 or 30 years back. And finally, this is a stage in 2010. We can see the graph of the Japan. So now we have a very, very low birth rate. And therefore, what I always emphasize, and I always talk in my previous lecture as well, that there are more older people in Japan now than the younger people. And this is really going to create a big problem in the future, especially in the future. And so let us see the whole graphs again and three shapes again, which I always be telling. So 1920, it was growing stage. It was more or less like a pyramid. In 1980s, it was stable, flat structure. And then in 2010, if you see, it's kind of a wedge shape where there are more older people than the younger people. And if we see how basically the graph moves or how the population ages. So we can see gradually as well, with 5 year difference, 25, 1930, then 1935, 1940, the World War II was going on, and then 1945, then the baby boomer stage in 1950s where babies were being born, more babies were, and then after that, immediately there was this reduction policy came, and you can see in 50s there were more born. It's around 120 and 120 on the same on the you see the overall values, and then similarly it just from 120 came to 80. Similarly for the male and for the female side, you can see the numbers gradually reduced, and then it kept on reducing in 60s, in 65, 70s. Yes, a little bit increased here again in 70s. You can see in 60s and then 70s, but overall the number was again on the reduction side, and then 80s, and then 85, and then 1990s, and then 95, and you can see from 80 to 60 and further lower around 2010, and here it's around near 40. So this is the reason that Japan has more older people than the younger people. You can see because the birth rate has really reduced, and this reduction in the birth rate has really caused the newborn to be very less, and then the older generation to grow, and the middle-aged people to grow more old. So now Japan has more old people, and there are very social implications with that. There are suicide gardens, or you can say suicide forests in Japan, and people are going to those and taking their lives. It has one of the highest rate in suicide in the area, in the region especially. If we talk about OECD, Organization of Economic Cooperation Development Countries, so Japan has one of the highest suicide rate in that country, in those countries, in that region. And that is because, again, because the number of people that are old are very much high, and therefore they simply, after a certain age, when they grow old, then they go and they take their lives. They suicide it. So it's a very big social implication. We have to see that. Let us see other countries and how their graphs and how their population is. So if we see Afghanistan, it's very youthful. There are more younger people, and then as we move up, there are less and less middle age, and then the older people are very reduced. So Philippines is more of a transitional country. You can see these are again the stages. These are the graphs are also complementary with the demographic transition stages as well. So this is the stage second. We talk about the stage 2 where the population is increasing, and this is the stage 3 where the transition is basically occurring, or it has started. This is the end of stage 2 and start of stage 3, and this is the stage 3. Actually, the Mexico is transitional. It has entered stage 3. This is stage 2, or almost stage 2, and where after stage 2 entering to stage 3, where you can see that children being born are more, and then as we grow, as we move up, the number of people are getting reduced because the people die. Therefore, as we grow as we move to the next age group, there are less number of people than the previous age groups. But you can see the lines that are flat at the bottom. So the flat stage is coming up. Actually, you can see here is flat structure, and also the flat structure here also almost coming up. And in transitional stage 3 of Mexico, we can see that now the population is not in the stage 2, it's now in stage 3, where again the number of people being our death rate is being reduced. That is what's the stage 3 is telling us, that the death rate is also reducing. So the now people that are being born, they're also much more closer than the people in the next age group. Now, this is very learning session. Initially, when I was sharing the slides in the demographic transition, I showed the two countries, Japan and Germany, their population is almost stable. So Germany, if you see, again, there are much more old people than the young people, and we have a bulge more of 50 and 40 years people. Now, this is really going to create problems in upcoming future. If we have less younger generation and we have more old people, and 20 or 30 years down the line, it is going to cause big problems. All people require health, or all people require social security. They require medicine. They require health facilities, so on and so forth. And if there are less younger people to support the economy, and this is really going to be very hurtful to the developing countries, because if there will be less younger people, then who is going to run the economy? That's the big question. All the countries which are having negative or less population growth are going to face in the future. This is the projecting future growth. I always talk about that birth rate is decreasing. Birth rate is on the decrease. You can't say that birth rate is increasing. Population increased because of the decrease in the death rate, not increase in the birth rate. So birth rate growth rates are decreasing throughout in the world. The graph is telling us again the same information. And the purpose again of showing these slides were that the data is very much authentic, and most of the data is taken by the United Nations, or by the World Health WHO's website. So the data is very much authentic. Therefore, I am sharing the slides from the University of Nebraska, University of Illinois, and took the permission from Dr. Jonathan Thompson, and he agreed that I can share these slides. Now, if you see the world at whole, 1950 it was a growing stage. 2020, then it entered stage 3, and 2050 it was almost stage 3, and then by the end of this century, you can see this. It's more of a stability or a transitional stage have crossed, and world is moving towards a stable population. These are three projected scenarios that if the population grows with the same rate, it will be around 14 or 16 billion with this red line. If we stop or we decrease the TFR, total fertility rate, then it will be a little bit stable around 10 billion. Or what is happening in the Western world countries, that if we reduce it further, then it could even be less in the future than what it's present today in the world. So it could be very much. So these are basically growth population curves. This one is the J curve. This is one the J curve is the one which shows that if we go with the same growth rate, then it will be a J curve. The S curve is the one that says that if it gets stable, if we reduce the TFR, then population will be stable. And then the last is that we have to, if we reduce the growth rate or reduce the TFR too much low, then we have much less population in the future, even than the present. And many of the Western countries does have a very low TFR. That is really a big problem. So if you see all the countries and the population of all the countries, China was the world's most populous country in the world. In even 2010, it remained the same. In 2050, it will no longer be the world's most populous country in the world. It will be India that will be the most world populous country in the world, and China will be less. So India will cross China in that. And by the end of 21st century, again, India will be the world's most populous country. And these are the population changes that are going to occur by the end of this century. There will be rise in Asia, there will be rise in Africa, which is a big rise but there is a decrease in the Europe. There is a decrease in the population in the Europe. Most of the countries in Europe are going towards a negative growth rate. Their population is going to decrease. And this is also what I told, what I basically shared in my first slide as well. It's not the number of people that are creating a problem. It's your lifestyle that does create a problem. So if you see whole of Africa, if you just remove Libya from here, the rest of all the Africa, the per capita CO2 emission per person per country is very less, very less. Here you can see all of the African countries. Only South Africa has a high uh, carbon dioxide emission rate, but rest of all the countries are very low. Here you can see. And then again one exception for India. Whereas if you see the per capita carbon dioxide emissions in the United States, that is one of the most highest. Then is Australia, then is Japan, then is United Kingdom, then France. All these countries are having a very high carbon dioxide emission rate. So the problem in the world, or if we say the pollution in the world that is being caused, or the climate change, or all the big environmental catastrophes that are being occurred, that is due to the lifestyle. That is the burden that has the Western lifestyle created, not the number of people that are creating it. So if we see, I give this graph again shows a very good picture. It's not the number of people that is creating the problem; it's the lifestyle. And let me come and give you more indigenous examples कि जो पाकिस्तान की अगर हम बात करें या इंडिया की हम बात करें तो आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड दैट इवन 10 और 15 और 20 लोग जो पाकिस्तान में हैं उनका जो एनवायरनमेंट पे बर्डन होगा वो एक या दो अमेरिकन के बराबर होगा या शायद 50 लोगों का जो इम्पैक्ट होगा वो एक या दो अमेरिकन के बराबर होगा सो एक या दो अमेरिकन का जो इम्पैक्ट है एनवायरनमेंट पे एमिशंस का पोल्यूशन का वो हमारे 50 लोगों से भी ज्यादा है तो इट्स नॉट द नंबर that we are having 50 people and there is just only one. So it's the lifestyle that is going to create problem. Secondly, दो तीन चार जो और बातें जो important हैं. जापान की मैंने example दी थी and let us again come back and see why I talk about Japan. And Japan is really a big problem that is they are going to say. Suicide gardens वहाँ पे हो गए हैं और लोग जो हैं वो एक खास एज के बाद now they have this they go to this forest or suicide gardens and they take their life. वो कहते हैं जी बहुत ली है अब मर के देख लो. It's a very big social issue. So you can't deny that, and this is really going to cause big problems. China की example हम ले लेते हैं. China का बल्कि मैं अभी ग्राफ दिखाता हूँ आपको. So let us now see the graph of China and see where the China is going, and that will give us a very good picture as well. Here is the China, then a graph of China. तो ग्राफ चाइना में आप देखें तो 2010 में ये उनकी स्ट्रक्चर है पॉपुलेशन का अगेन number of people being born are less and we have a more middle age group. By the end of 2050 they will be having 60 to 65 years people more. उनके पास ये जो है बड़ी उम्र के लोग ज्यादा हो जाएंगे and this is really going to create a big problem. और चाइना ने स्कॉलरशिप्स खोली हैं आज से पहले नहीं खोली थी क्योंकि अब क्या है उनकी यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं but the youth is very less. Just very important point which I am going to discuss here that now in the last 5-10 years we can see this rush of Chinese scholarships. Why they're coming up? Because there are less number of young people who come to universities, so therefore they are opening to the world. People from all over the world they come and they study in those universities, they do work, they do research work for them. जो प्रोडक्टिव एज होती है आपकी जो सही काम की है वो आपकी एज 15 से लेके 35-40 तक. ठीक है. Oh, ठीक है, people get retired at 68, but that's the more productive age, from 15, 35, 40. So that's the prime age. So अगर उस एज के लोग आपके पास कम होंगे तो आपके लिए प्रॉब्लम होगा. अब आप देखें जो फ्यूचर की तरफ जा रहे हैं जो लोग जाते हैं चाइना में जा रहे हैं एंड द सेकंड रीजन व्हाई द चाइना इज ओपन प्रीवियस चाइना वाज नॉट ओपन एंड दे वर वर्किंग वो अपने उनमें फोकस किया हुआ था अपनी इकोनॉमी पर अपनी चीजों पे. उसकी रीजन ये थी कि चाइना का अपना कल्चर था उन्होंने वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी की थी. वन चाइल्ड पॉलिसी अब उन्होंने खत्म कर दी और उसकी रीजन खत्म करने की क्या है कि उनका फैमिली स्ट्रक्चर टोटल तबाह हो गया उनका फैमिली स्ट्रक्चर. मैंने लास्ट टाइम भी जिक्र किया था आपको कि अगर आप देखें उनका फैमिली खत्म हो चुका है. पेरेंट जो है वो माँ भी एक है और बाप भी एक है. सो देयर आर जस्ट ओनली मदर एंड फादर. सो देयर आर नो सिस्टर्स. ना माँ के कोई बहन भाई है ना बाप के कोई बहन भाई. तो टोटल सिस्टम खत्म हो गया. फैमिली सिस्टम कोलैप्स हो गया. अगर हम बात करें ना मामू है ना खाला है ना चाचू है ना फुफ्फू है. हम अगर अपने पाकिस्तानी कॉन्टेक्स्ट की बात कर रहा हूँ मैं तो खत्म हो गया ना. बाप भी अकेला है माँ भी अकेली है. ना बाप का कोई भाई था ना माँ की को भाई बहन थी ना बाप का कोई भाई बहन था. तो इसलिए बच्चों को पता ही नहीं कि स्ट्रक्चर है क्या. अब वो दुनिया से उन्होंने ओपन किया बट अब जब आप 30 साल या 40 साल से अपनी कौम को कहते हैं कि जी एक बच्चा ही काफी है एक बच्चा ही काफी है तो फिर वो इतनी तबीयत रहती है कि नाउ दे डोंट वांट अ सेकंड चाइल्ड. इवन you give them so much incentives, they're not going. It's not that easy to go towards that. And now they will going to face the music in the coming future. अच्छा यूरोप में जो मैंने बताया पॉपुलेशन इतनी ज्यादा ग्रोथ का जो मसला आ रहा है उसका रीजन हम बात कर चुके हैं कि वहाँ पे बहुत से कंट्रीज में पॉपुलेशन अगेन नेगेटिव में है बिकॉज नंबर ऑफ पीपल ओल्ड पीपल आर मोर एंड यंग पीपल आर लेस. सो नंबर ऑफ पीपल दैट आर ओल्ड आर Simply, they are going to die. So number of people dying are more than the number of people being born. The population is in negative. इटली में कोरोना की वजह से डेथ्स हुई बिकॉज इटली में पॉपुलेशन एजेड, बड़े उम्र के लोग ज्यादा थे वहाँ पर जो है उनकी डेथ ज्यादा हुई है। जहाँ पे भी यूरोप में डेथ ज्यादा हुई है वहाँ पे ज्यादा बड़े लोगों की उम्र हुई है क्योंकि बिकॉज दे नीड मोर हेल्थ केयर, उनको इम्यूनिटी भी कम होती है। सिमिलरली अगर हम बात करेंगे तो इफ देयर आर मोर ओल्ड पीपल, द गवर्नमेंट विल हैव टू गिव देम फैसिलिटीज, they can add that much value to the economy as the young people are adding. India is in the future will going to be the world most populous country in the world. और इस वक्त दुनिया में आप देखें इंडिया के जो IT ग्रेजुएट्स हैं they are going to lead the world. गूगल के CEO इंडियन है ऑलरेडी, पेप्सी के CEO इंडियन है. So if there is more young blood or young people, the countries that have more youth, they are going to lead the world in the future because they will have the potential to change, make the change, to be the change. जिस तरह गांधी साहब ने कहा था ना, be the change you want to see in the world. So the countries that will have more young people will basically will be the driving force towards the change or towards the leaders of the tomorrow. ठीक है, अब हम जरा पाकिस्तान की बात कर लें कि let us see where our country Pakistan is. So this is the graph of Pakistan. Let me see, share it with you. In 1970, we had the graph that was a growing population, again the very good pyramid shape. Then in 2000, we started towards moved from stage 2 towards stage 3, and by 2025 we will be in the transitional phase in stage 3. And even if we remain here, it will be a good sign. But if we continue with the same pace, then might be after 30, 40, 50 years down the line, we might also be having more older people than the young. And this is where the situation is very alarming, and that's why I always mirror focus of that. This is a graph of 2016, and we can see the transitional phase is already being there, stage 3, and stage 3 के बाद अगर हम देखें तो ये दोनों sides पे आपको नजर आएंगे कि both at the male side and at the female side, the number of children being born have been reduced. So मैं ये कहूँगा कि अल्लाह खैर करे कि आफ्टर 40 years 50 years डाउन द लाइन ये ना हो कि हमारे पास भी यंग लोग कम हो जाएं और ओल्ड एज के लोग ज्यादा हो जाएं. एंड नाउ लेट मी गिव यू अनदर एग्जांपल. द प्रॉब्लम इन पाकिस्तान इज अगेन, अगर हम देहातों में जाएं तो वहाँ पे पॉपुलेशन अभी भी ज्यादा है. नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स दैट आर बीइंग बोर्न आर मच मोर. बट इफ यू सी द सिटीज में आबादी कम हो गई है और हो रही है, बहुत तेजी से कम हो रही है. मैं बात करूंगा इस्लामाबाद, लाहौर और कराची. अगर हम बात करें तो इस्लामाबाद, लाहौर और कराची में जितनी भी यहाँ पे मिडिल क्लास फैमिलीज हैं, वहां पे अगर आप बच्चों की आप तादाद देखें बहुत लोग. मैं अगेन एक लोकल एग्जांपल देता हूँ. स्टूडेंट्स को मैं हमेशा डिस्कस करता हूँ. लेट अस सी आवर फैमिली स्ट्रक्चर. हमारे जो पेरेंट्स थे वो कितने बहन भाई थे. आप अपनी वालदा की तरफ से देख लें, अपने वालिद साहब की तरफ से देख लें, तो वो 4-5 बहन भाई होंगे. अगर हम अब बात करें, इस वक्त जो मौजूद बच्चे हैं, जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, जब बात करता हूँ तो हम उनसे पूछता हूँ तो वो कहते हैं कि हम 3-4 बहन. मैं कहता हूँ आगे चलते हैं कि अगर आप में किसी बहन भाई की शादी हो गई है, किसी की हो गई, तो उनके कितने बच्चे, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि उनका एक, ज्यादातर या मैक्सिमम 2 है. तो ज्यादातर के 1 या 2 बच्चे हैं. ये शहरों में बता रहा हूँ. तो पॉपुलेशन इज डिक्रीजिंग. और हम पढ़ चुके हैं, पहले देख चुके हैं कि पॉपुलेशन TFR अब 2.1 चाहिए, which means it has to be more than 2 children per family. 2.1 का मतलब है कि 2 से ज्यादा बच्चे होने चाहिए. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि we should have 7, 8, 9, 10 जिस तरह ज्ञापन में होते हैं, but I am saying that we need to have more than 2 children. ठीक है, 3 is a good number. There should be 3 children. That will be very good number. हम बात कर सकते हैं उसके ऊपर. That's very good table, but should be more than 2. But जो families में 2 से कम है, that उनको देखना है वो किस तरफ जा रहे हैं. और अब कई पढ़े लिखे लोग, मैंने बताया, I'm talking about, I have seen many people there say that one is more than. Again, the more focus is towards the lifestyle. The Western thought has a lot to play in this regard. कि enjoy करें life. This is what has happened in the West as well. So they don't want to have more children. West में तो that's another topic that we talk about, that marriage institution जो है वो खत्म हो चुका है. और वहाँ पे तो marriage बहुत कम लोग जो है वो they are moving towards that, and they don't want to get married because of so much responsibilities. But that's another topic. But that is one of the topics that they want to enjoy their lives. So they don't want to have more children. They want to have less children. So when you want to have less children, when you are going on that decrease in the birth rate, the implications will be very severe, and it will not be Just after 5 or 10 years, it will be around 30, 40 years down the line. Japan, China are very good examples. You will see how the upcoming years change will be very drastic in these countries. Okay, so again, to conclude my lecture on this population that I told you and I shared with you, I shared with you the slides from University of Illinois from Dr. Jonathan Duncan, and the data was very much authentic. So the purpose was that to give you the latest researches and latest data on population. So in the initial, I talk about Malthus' theory and how his theory was not true, and I'm not going to see it to be true in upcoming future as well. Then we talk about demographic transition that has occurred in most of the in most of the developed nations, and they have most of the developed countries have entered stage 5, and now this demographic transition is occurring in most of the developing nations. And today we talked about age structure pyramid graphs, and there were 3 shapes I told you about. That uh, one is the pyramid shape, the other is more of a flat shape, and the third is the wedge, where we have more old people than the less people. So, and then I also talk about the example of Japan, and then I showed you the graph of China, and finally we are seeing the graph of Pakistan. So the purpose, and we discuss all the different, you can say, we discuss different topics related to with the population, and I told you what are the implications of reducing the number of children. And to conclude, if we are to conclude my these lectures on population, so what I will be saying that the standard of TFR is 2.1. We can say the replacement fertility is 2.1. So according to that replacement fertility, we should have more than 2 children. Okay, and that will be important because simply reducing the population is not the answer, because if we reduce the population today, it is going to create big problems in the future. So we should have to have children. It's the distribution of resources that is the main problem. It's the distribution of resources that is the problem, not the population itself, because we need young people. Young people are our resource. Young people is our future, are our future. And young people are our hope. So if we have children, we will have more young people, and we can make our country progress. That is it. Thank you very much. And I hope these lectures would have really opened your mind on this topic of population. Thank you very much, and all the best.